Big Ten Football Media Days presented by Old National Bank. Thank you to the Indiana Sports Corp, Jim Irsay and the Colts, and the City of Indianapolis for your incredible hospitality. In just over 4 months, nearly 70,000 fans will pack these seats for the Discover Big Ten Football Championship game, broadcast on CBS for the first time. I'm proud to announce today that Lucas Oil Stadium will be the home of the Big Ten Football Championship game for another 4 seasons through 2028. I'm also happy to be the first to share with you that the National Football Foundation will be presenting the John L. Toner Athletic Director of the Year Award to Ward Manuel from the University of Michigan. Congratulations, Ward, on this well-deserved recognition. Ward will also begin his term as the College Football Playoff Selection Committee Chair this season. We are now just 10 days away from welcoming our 4 new members to the Big Ten Conference: the University of Oregon, UCLA, USC, and the University of Washington. Before we look ahead, let's look back at a remarkable year from our more than 10,000 student athletes across 28 sports. Last year was an incredible year in women's sports, in large part because of what happened in the Big Ten. It began in August with Volleyball Day in Nebraska, where more than 92,000 fans, the largest crowd to ever gather for a women's sporting event, packed Memorial Stadium. Then in October, a women's college basketball attendance record was shattered when more than 55,000 Iowa fans filled Kinnick Stadium. Just 2 weeks later, Wisconsin and Minnesota met in the most viewed volleyball match in television history, only to see that number topped by Nebraska and Texas in December's NCAA championship. That match was played in front of the largest indoor crowd in college volleyball history. Iowa set records for the most watched women's basketball game ever on 7 different networks during the season. Their Elite Eight, Final Four, and national championship games each set new records for the most watched event in the sport's history. And the final against South Carolina was the most watched basketball game, men's or women's, college or pro, since 2019. You really can't tell the story of last year in sports without acknowledging the woman who now plays right here in Indianapolis. Caitlin Clark led the Hawkeyes to a title at a sold-out Big Ten women's basketball tournament and was a National Player of the Year in women's college basketball. In volleyball, Sarah Franklin from Wisconsin was named AVCA Player of the Year, and Izzy Skane from Northwestern earned her second straight Player of the Year honor in college lacrosse. On the men's side, Purdue's Zach Edey gave the Big Ten a sweep of college basketball's Player of the Year awards. And Aaron Brooks is not only a 4-time national champion and U.S. Olympian, he was the 8th straight Big Ten wrestler to win the Hodge Trophy while leading Penn State to the NCAA championship. In all, Big Ten teams and student athletes won 20 individual national championships and 5 team titles during the year, including Michigan's college football playoff championship. In the classroom, the conference's 14 schools totaled 80 academic All-Americans and 5 NCAA Elite 90 honorees. The Big Ten Network, the first of its kind, set viewership records in basketball, volleyball, soccer, baseball, gymnastics, and cross country this past season. And our digital presence has been rebuilt and is growing, with more than 800 million impressions, twice as many engagements, and a 220% increase in video views over the last 12 months. Competitively, our student athletes continue to excel not only in college, but on professional and international stages as well. 141 Big Ten student athletes were selected in professional drafts, and we will have 116 United States Olympians, the most of any conference, in the Paris Summer Olympic Games, including 30 returning medalists. Every one of our 18 member institutions will be represented on Team USA, in addition to a huge presence on international rosters that brings the total number of Big Ten athletes in Paris to more than 325. On August 2nd, we officially welcomed the University of Oregon, UCLA, USC, and the University of Washington into the Big Ten Conference. These AAU member institutions are leaders in scholarship, innovation, scientific advancements, and athletic excellence. Together, they have won 302 NCAA team championships and will have 49 Olympians on Team USA in Paris. On the football field, they've combined for 10 Heisman trophies, 73 College Football Hall of Famers, 41 Rose Bowl championships, and 173 first-round NFL draft picks, including 6 just this year. Our staff is focused on working with all 4 institutions to ensure they hit the ground running this summer. This includes extensive collaboration with our coaching groups on scheduling and championship formats, marketing and branding alignment, and integration into the Big Ten Academic Alliance. They joined us during the most transformative period in college sports. Over the past year, the Big Ten continued its active engagement in helping chart a new path for college athletics, working with our chancellors, presidents, and administrators, and alongside our conference colleagues, we formalized expansion of the college football playoff. In May, we reached an initial agreement on an historic settlement that will allow student athletes to benefit from expanded scholarships and from institutionally provided financial benefits. Additional transparency into third-party NIL deals and market norms will help stabilize college athletics and protect student athletes. While significant strides have been made, there's still much to do. Changes to governance models and operational rules must be debated and implemented. State and local laws that create an uneven playing field still must be addressed. Litigation and administrative proceedings that seek to classify student athletes regardless of sport or school as employees. We continue to work with Congress and our colleagues to address these challenges, and we are optimistic that we will build on the momentum of the past year. The goal remains to provide Big Ten student athletes with a world-class education and the opportunity to compete at the highest level against the very best competition. Today, we're here at Lucas Oil Stadium to celebrate and prepare for the upcoming football season. College football has never been stronger, especially in the Big Ten Conference. Over the next 3 days, you'll have the opportunity to hear from our head coaches and 3 student athletes from each of our 18 schools. First, let's welcome our 7 new head coaches: Kurt Signetti of Indiana, Sharon Moore of Michigan, Jonathan Smith of Michigan State, Dan Lanning of Oregon, Deshaun Foster of UCLA, Lincoln Riley of USC, and Jed Fish of Washington. No sport is better at bringing people together than college football. During the 2023 season, our 18 member schools appeared in 51 games that had at least 70,000 people in attendance, including 20 that exceeded 100,000. Michigan's win over Ohio State was the most watched regular season college football game since 2011 and the 4th most watched since 1993. And Michigan's Rose Bowl victory was a top 10 cable telecast of all time, in front of the game's biggest crowd since 1998. This season will be our first with a full slate of games on 3 broadcast networks, along with cable and direct-to-consumer options, providing fans with the ability to watch Big Ten football in multiple ways. Last season, 44 of the 50 most-watched college football games were on over-the-air broadcast networks. This year, Big Ten teams will appear on broadcast networks more than 60 times, the most in college football. Fans will watch Big Ten football on Fox on Friday nights and Saturday at noon, on CBS at 3:30, and on NBC at 7:30, in addition to an array of games airing exclusively on the Big Ten Network, FS1, and Peacock. Our new lineup has more premier matchups week to week than ever before. Ohio State at Oregon, Penn State at USC, Washington at Iowa, and that's just on October 12th. All in addition to the Big Ten rivalries our fans have come to know and love. Our teams are battling for the right to return here on December 7th, the first time the number 1 and number 2 teams in the overall standings will square off for the Big Ten championship. The new, expanded college football playoff will give more Big Ten teams the opportunity to compete for a national championship. This season, we're excited to utilize technology to advance the sport of football. Over the last several years, the Big Ten Conference, steered by Vice President for Football Administration, A.J. Eads, has championed legislation permitting coach-to-player helmet communication and the use of sideline video by student athletes and coaches, both of which will be introduced this fall. This season, we're proud to partner with Apple. The iPad is the ideal solution for our coaches and student athletes to watch in-game video. We're excited to have both of these innovations on display here at Lucas Oil so our media, coaches, and players have the opportunity for a hands-on experience. Next month, we look forward to unveiling the Big Ten's new state-of-the-art centralized replay center. It is the most comprehensive of its kind with 18 dedicated replay bays and 6 dedicated medical observation stations that will allow our staff to review plays while at the same time monitoring health and safety. Finally, thank you to our media, our fans, our coaches, and student athletes. The Big Ten Conference has never been stronger. I look forward to all of your questions. Thank you.